Welcome to another episode of An Inside Job. War on addiction, and it is a war, and we're losing, and we're losing bad. I want to thank LTV, Kyle, Jack, Janie, Alan, and Bradley, and I'm your host, Ron. I want to give you a quote of I say this every show, but it's important to try to understand this thing. Dr. Gabor Mate works with hardcore addicts downtown Vancouver, East Side, rough, and he wrote this book, and it's just brilliant. He's brilliant, I believe, and he describes addiction as biological, chemical, neurological, physiological, medical, social, emotional, political, economical, and spiritual. This thing is complicated, and I believe when people get sober, they need some time to work on themselves, because a 7-day detox or a 1-month program, it's not enough. And it's proving itself that it's not enough. Anyway, I want to welcome Mark. He's coming up from Worcester, and I really appreciate that. He is a good friend with Kenny, who you might remember did his rap on to do a recovery, and it was so profound. I just watched it again the other day. So welcome, Mark.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming up.
No problem.
And you've wanted to. You got in touch with Jack,
I did.
That shows a lot. So, how old are you now?
I'm 39 years old.
Okay. I know you had a rough growing up. We'd want to elaborate on that at all, or?
Yeah, no, I don't mind. So I grew up in a family where I had what I thought was my mother, my father, a brother and a sister, and a brother that used to like show up every once in a while. And then like I was being raised by this family who I thought, you know, for so many years was my family. And you know, I used to get made fun of a lot, like, because I used to go to my baseball games and football games, and like this lady would show up with me as my mother, and like people would make fun of me, like saying that that she was my grandmother, you know. And come to find out, like at 13 years old, I remember I grew up on Route 20 in Charlton, and I seen a lady get off of a tractor trailer, and the next thing you know, she was standing in my kitchen in front of me, and I was eating a bowl of American chop suey. I still remember it like yesterday, and she told me she was my mother, and I was like, no, you're not, that's my mother. And I like pointed to the lady that I thought had been my mother, and she explained to me that she was actually my biological mother, and that she had spent a lot of her life in prison, and she came up that way like to try to build a life with me. So
let me ask you, the up until 13 years, how was that growing up?
I was being raised right above a bar.
Okay.
Yeah, the people that brought me up owned a bar right below where I lived. They owned that for many years. And then as I got older, it became a store. So I met a guy, and he like kind of like took me under his wing, you know, and like he basically brought me like to play sports. He entered me into like all types
Okay.
of sports activities and stuff.
So the bar, but not, were they drinkers?
Yeah, the lady that brought me up was a drinker. The guy that I was being brought up with, I thought was my brother. He was more like a father figure to me, more of a father figure than I ever had.
Yeah.
He actually just died of the disease of addiction as well. He died from a heroin overdose as well.
Yeah.
In 2008. Actually, February 2nd has been 10 years that he's been gone.
So it was rough.
Yeah.
That
Very,
time. Were they good to you though?
I wouldn't more say good to me. Like, they didn't neglect me. I wasn't really beaten.
Yeah.
But I wasn't really shown like the love that maybe like that I try to show my children, you know,
Right.
as much as I can. You know, I'm
Right.
not really there right now, but
Right.
I do my best.
But you're in touch.
Oh yeah, on a
Yeah.
daily basis, yes.
Yeah. You want to say a little something about the house that you're at?
Yeah, so I entered a 6-month residential program on September 11th after I knew like I can't live on my own anymore. You know, I'm not able to function living by myself. I've tried it so many times, but like when I'm in facilities like that, I'm really good. You know, like I'm really good at being told what to do and like when
Yeah.
to do it. But like it's when I get left to myself like that I'm not able to like function my own life. I'm not able to manage my own money. I'm not able to live for myself without the use of drugs. Like my whole relationship with my children's mother, most of it I was using. I was actively using for most of it. So I haven't really had a chance to like work on myself or learn how to live.
Right.
Because it was a very,
Right.
She didn't use and she didn't give me money to use, but by her taking me back a lot, it was a very codependent relationship.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And how about the second place that you talked about? The other program that you worked at,
Well, I actually worked at the house that I live in now.
right?
I worked there. In 2013, I was working there. I had been working there. I only had about 8 months clean when I got the job there. And I ended up going and also getting a job at the smog shelter.
Right. You just explain a little about that because it sounded good.
Yeah, it was a very interesting job. There wasn't a day that went by that there wasn't a police officer or an EMS there. Every day, either there was violence, someone using, someone dying. You know.
You said the wet shelter?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was a wet shelter.
Formerly the PIP shelter.
Yes. It used to be at 701 Main. Now it's at 25 Queen Street.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
How many people in that?
They house up to I think 90 a night. And they,
Oh, so they come in at night?
yeah,
Yeah.
you have to leave the building at 6 in the morning. You can't re-enter until 6 at night.
Yeah.
So that's the shift I worked was from 3 to 11. So like I had to be there when all the people were coming in, and I was the supervisor for that shift. So it was a very hard job, and I actually ended up relapsing while I was working on that job because like I wasn't ready to put myself in that type of environment. I wasn't strong enough in my recovery to be able to work in a place like that. Just
Yeah.
as well as last January when I was hired to work at the Children's Detox and Community Health Link. I ended up getting a job there with right around the same amount of clean time, and I actively started using right in their facility with the children right in my care.
Yeah. That was very powerful when you told me that there is a program for kids, and
Yeah.
you said from 12 to 18.
Yeah.
How many kids?
It was up to 25 children. Yeah.
Boy, talk about an epidemic, man. Mostly heroin?
To believe it or not really. A lot of the children in there are in there for marijuana.
Really?
Yeah, it's kind of strange, but a lot of parents, you know, the people that usually bring their kids there are from like rich areas like Natick and Framingham and Western Mass, and they really frown upon people that even use marijuana. But I did have one client in there one time, 14-year-old female, who told me that her father shot her up for her first time. And like at that time, I had a daughter that's 16. She was 15 at the time, and I could never imagine like me doing that to my own daughter, you know. But like it really happens out there, and I never believed it, but it does.
Vicious.
Yeah, it's very vicious.
Life and death. Death.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's your environment growing up. When did you use first with the drink or the drug?
I didn't start using drugs. I didn't smoke my first joint until I was 18 years old.
Okay.
I started selling at a little bit younger of an age, just because like I wanted to have things that other kids had in school.
Right.
Because like I didn't have that type of stuff growing up. The lady that brought me up used to find my stuff and give it to the guy that I talked about earlier, which was my brother. She used to give my stuff to him, and like reprimand me for it, because like I had it in the house, but she enabled him to be able to do it. So I felt like
Yeah.
some type of resentments for that I had.
Yeah.
You know. So my drugs just progressed. You know, like I said, I would never do cocaine. I ended up starting to do that when I was
So
around
from weed to cocaine.
to cocaine. Yeah, I started cocaine around 21 years old, and then I met my children's mother when I was 21 years old, and now I'm 39. And like I used to hide it very well, or thought I was hiding it very well, but soon enough she had caught on to what I was doing. You know, people would be talking about it, and I would deny it. So I entered my first detox when I was 21 years old.
21.
Yeah, for cocaine. You know,
But before the weed, were you drinking?
not really. Like
No.
occasional
Not a drinker.
beers. No, I am a drinker. Like just like everything I do in my life, if I do a little bit of it, I need a lot of it.
Right.
You know, like I used to never say I was an alcoholic because I used to even say to their mother that I wasn't an alcoholic because I was able to not drink every day. But when I drink, and I don't stop.
Yeah.
You know, I'm that type of guy that you'd be on your first beer and I'd be on my sixth.
Yeah.
That's what type of an addict I am. Like I don't stop.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. A lot of us. When did you first either accept or know, because I think there's a difference, that you had a problem?
2 years ago when I finally really lost my kid's mother and my family, because so many times she would tell me it's my last time.
Yeah.
It was her last
Enabling
time.
you.
Yeah, my last time coming home. My last time coming home.
Yeah.
And like when it was really over, like I had to accept the fact that I had a problem. It took a long time.
Denial.
I have a huge issue with denial, yeah,
Yeah.
and acceptance.
Yeah. Let's see. That's that. Just explain to me, please, the progression Let me just think for a second. Okay. The progression, because I know you have had a history of relapsing.
Yeah.
Just explain that when you first started. When did you start detoxing?
My first detox was when I was 21 years old, so
Okay.
roughly 18 years ago.
What got you in there at that age?
I was only doing it for my kid's mother, to be honest. I was never doing it for myself.
So you guys have been together for a long time.
We spent almost 19 years together.
Wow.
Yeah.
But you're friends right now.
We have I would say, a love-hate relationship, maybe. I don't
Yeah.
hate her. I love her. You know,
Yeah.
she's my children's mother. And she'd probably say the same thing.
And she is married to another person at this time.
I'm not married. She's not married.
Oh, okay.
She had a child with another guy.
Okay, that's right. Yeah. Yeah. We talked in the car and it was great. We talked about what happens that instant when you go into AA, and of course there's many parts to this that we talked about. So one thing you're saying, and I see it 99% of the time, you back off on your meetings,
Yeah.
right? And how did, I'm struggling how to say this, but how did it keep happening? You said you were in denial all these times, so you'd get in trouble with it. You started detoxing, you get in trouble with it, and you come out and you said you thought you could have just one, which
Not that
some of
much.
us know. I can't, and you know too.
Yeah, I know.
You know.
Yeah.
So is that where the denial comes in?
I would have to say so, yeah. What it is I stopped going to meetings like not drastically. Like I'll still attend meetings.
Yeah.
I want everybody to think that I'm doing okay because I'm starting to look good on the outside. I'm starting to get my weight back. You know, I'm
Yeah.
starting to like accumulate some small things in my life, and people will start telling me that I'm doing good, and they see I'm doing good, and then I think that everyone thinks I'm doing good, so now I can use one and no one's gonna know. And then
So that's part of it
that's
also.
a huge part of it. Yeah.
So you, at times of building up to using,
Yeah.
it begins and got it in your head.
Right.
You know, I've been sober a long time, but if I have a big problem with sweets, and if I know something's downstairs, and I tell her hide it,
Yeah.
hide it. But if I know it's down there, it just won't leave me alone.
Right, yeah.
And I break down. I get so. But what would it be?
Obsession and compulsion.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, yeah, that's the huge thing I suffer with is drugs is just a symptom in my disease. I have a disease of obsession and compulsion because I obsess and compulse about anything.
Yeah.
You know, like I've done that my whole life. You know, ever since I was younger. Like when I want something, I want it, and I don't stop thinking about it
Yeah.
until I get it.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the same thing when I put drugs into my body. You know, and I'm not able
Yeah.
to stop. Once I start, I'm not able to stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My wife and I were talking the other morning. She's been sober a long, long time, 41 years now.
Wow.
And I don't know how we have just talks in the morning. It's great. And she told me that I was obsessive compulsive. I have a good friend, and now he is diagnosed obsessive compulsive. So I think about Danny's disease, and I mean, before he goes out, he has a ritual, right? He has to make sure the stove, all the burners are off, that this. Sometimes he has to go back and do it again. That's not how it is for me. But I am compulsive. If I want to get the thing,
Yeah.
I get the thing, and it
Right.
won't leave me alone. I just got I got every kitchen toy there are and gadgets and
Yeah.
everything. And of course, my wife just looks at me. You said you have a doctor's appointment,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
With a psychiatrist.
Yes, I do. Yeah.
And going to see for the first time, right?
Right.
About meds.
Right.
And I told you that without my meds, and I started the meds, I'm a Vietnam veteran, started the meds in probably the 90s, and I had been sober for a while. But I was still crazy, even though I wasn't drinking, and I didn't want to take any medication. There was a therapist that said, "Why don't you try this?" And I didn't want to. But when I did, it helped just so much because I had this rage from coming back to the war, and it would just spill out, like that, verbally.
Right.
Thank God. So I always say that if you want to understand war, combat, PTSD, go talk to Susan. She'll tell you. We've been together for a long time. So you explained what age this whole thing was happening. How many? Do you have an approximate of how many detoxes?
I'd say I've been in roughly around between 30 and 40.
Yeah.
I was averaging about 3 a year, I would say.
Yeah. Horrible.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah,
Horrible.
it gets tiresome.
And that's what I'm trying to get across to people, that just how difficult this thing is. And there were I ran into a guy who said this before. I don't understand that. I don't understand that. I don't do that. You know, so what? You don't do it. Try to come in my shoes.
Right.
It isn't the way. Anyway. It's a month ago, Surgeon General stated 91 are dying a day. 91 in the country, 91 a day. I think it's more than shootings and car accidents and everything else. And we just aren't putting our focus in, even society. There's no... A quick example is our president or the Congress appropriated or are about to appropriate a lot of money, then they say drug addiction,
Yeah.
right? And where's that money going? It's going to the wall to keep, you know, he's saying to keep the Mexicans out because they're taking this and this and this, and it doesn't work. It's proven that it doesn't work that way. War on drugs, 40 years, 45 years now. It just doesn't work. And one of the things that I've learned through my years is if an addict wants to get high, he's going to get high. You know, there's going to be some way. And with the prescription stuff, and you talked about you were prescribed OxyContin.
No, I was never prescribed OxyContin.
Oh, you
I used
started
to buy
on-
them off the street. I was prescribed pills after an accident, industrial accident.
What were those?
They were just Percocet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but not just Percocet.
But I had already started doing Percocet long before my first accident, before my first
Yeah.
fall.
Yeah. So that was a lead up to your opiate.
Another relapse. Another relapse, yeah.
Right, but building up to your heroin,
Right.
yeah, that can take its toll
Yeah, it does.
too. I had my shoulder operated on, and it was bad, and the doctor gave me some perks, right? Me, the addict, you know. One day I said, "This is crazy," and so I stopped, and it didn't take me back out, and I'm very fortunate. I haven't had to look back. I haven't had a relapse in 36 years.
That's great.
And I keep coming to AA and NA. I just keep coming, and it's working for me. It's my life now, and I've said it before. Ooh. You want to talk about your different times of clean time?
I'm not able to really accumulate much clean time ever. There's a case manager in my house that says something that makes a lot of sense. He says, clean time has an expiration date and recovery doesn't, you know. I'm able to get some clean time together often. However, I'm not able to maintain it because I've never really worked my recovery to the best of my ability.
What do you mean by that? If you can go into that a little.
I don't take all the suggestions that are suggested to me. Usually I pick out the ones that I want to do,
Such as,
such as
we're doing it for the,
a meeting every day.
Yeah.
Because like I said, slowly I'll stop going to meetings. Sit in the first few rows of the meeting. A lot of times I sit in the back.
yeah,
No relationships the first year in recovery. Very difficult to do. Work on your 12 steps. Never done it. Like those are just some of the examples
yeah.
of suggestions that I don't
Yeah.
take. You know.
And you said, once you start, you're a roofer and a carpenter.
Yes.
And once you start accumulating your stuff back,
Yeah.
being clean, a lot of money in your pocket,
Yeah.
feeling good, and then, well, we did say building up to it. It may not be always building up to it, just like that. Yeah, right, like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're gone. And
I just need to start recognizing my relapses before they happen, because I do see them, because you relapse before you actually pick up the drug. Like your behaviors, well, for
Right.
me, my behaviors start
Right.
changing. I start acting out, I start lying, I start doing things to like manipulate someone. I start doing all those things, and then I relapse. That's my patterns for so many years.
It has been.
It's been my patterns.
That way.
Yeah.
Do you hang with other people in the program,
Yes.
right? Do they notice when you're
They do.
They do.
Yeah, and they call me out on it. Like I said,
Okay.
that's when I don't take the suggestions. You know, that's
Yeah.
you know, like
Yeah.
I work. The guy I work for is a close friend of mine, and he has 5 years clean. Actually, he's celebrating
nice.
this Friday, and
Nice.
he always is on my case about what I need to do, and I kind of just like listen to some of the things that he tells me
Yeah.
to do, and not all of them.
Yeah. Who wants to be told anything,
Right.
right? We're addicts. That's why I believe that it just can't be pushed down your
Right.
throat.
No.
We're gonna, okay, it's all right. That we were talking about. I ran a house for veterans up in Gardner, Massachusetts, and I ran it pretty loose. They had to go to 5 meetings. That was 5 meetings a week. And they had to sign out, and I would check to see if they were there. But other than that, and doing that chore and coming to the house meeting, that's 3. I got the 3-minute thing. I don't know if we want to do another one or not. I don't know what we'd talk about.
This is still on here.
Huh? Yeah. Let's do another one, all right? We take a little break, if you think we got something enough to talk about.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're gonna wrap it up. We're gonna do another one with Mark, and it'll be the 27th one. And I'm happy about that. So we'll wrap it up. Thanks.